Democrats are ready to ship Grandpa Joe off to the nursing home for good. More fallout from a New York Times report, which indicates many in the party are looking to dump Joe Biden in 2024 because of his advanced age and a series of calamities under his watch. But the White House press secretary laughing off any questions about Biden's fitness for office.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
Don, you're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. You know, I can't even keep up with it. We just got back from New Mexico. We just got back from California. That is not a question that we should be even asking. Just look at the work that he does.
You know, Jesse, she can't keep up with the president.
Jesse Jr. could keep up with the president. Don wasn't even smiling. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's serious. He got the memo. A memo went out, probably a polling memo, or some power brokers at the Democratic National Committee said this guy was good for getting Trump out of there, but he's not performing. He has performance issues. You know what I'm talking about, Greg. So
yes.
CNN is now in on the get rid of Joe thing. The Times is in on it. It's out. So he's bad for ratings at CNN. He's bad for business. Look at the stock market. You think the donors want to suffer a recession this summer? I mean, come on. We're wiping out everything that we've gained under his presidency so far, and they've had it. So they're going to put him out to pasture right after the shredding in the midterms. And the question is, how long is it going to take Joe to understand that that's what's happening? Because the man has pride. He's a Biden. He loves himself. He's wanted to be president his entire life. He's run 3 times. So maybe Susan Rice, she gets in there. You know, the bombers are circling. Someone has to tell Joe. Axelrod is sending smoke signals. He's got to go because the other people that are running for president in 2024, they need time to fundraise, to contact donors. Right. This thing's had to have been lickety-split after the midterms.
Yeah,
as Dana predicted.
Yes, I did.
A long time ago.
The Friday after, no, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. No, the Monday after Thanksgiving.
What a memory.
You know, the judge, why don't they just give him a gold watch?
You know why? Because he's gotten a lot of them from his sons traveling around the world. Okay, only kidding.
This is
here's the problem with it, when you listen to Karine Saint-Pierre, is that?
Saint-Pierre.
Yeah, okay. The problem is she says, oh my gosh, she's the president of the United States. Of course he's up to it. What does one have to do with the other? And then she says that the president is going to do what the president is going to do. Who does that remind you of? Kamala Harris. It's like they're talking in verbal circles. But in the end, this is about Joe Biden not wanting to give up the spotlight. He is so convinced and so egotistical that he doesn't want to give it up. And maybe it might just be about people saying, Joe, we want you to stay there because we don't want to give it to Kamala. Okay? That Kamala is just so horrible. Just stay in there. We'll do what we got to do. You know, we'll push her away. But the Democrats can't be seen as pushing Kamala out of the way right off the bat. So I think Kamala has a big piece of it. But I really think Karine Saint-Pierre, I think her answer was ridiculous. I can't keep up with him. He's going to do what he's going to do. And, you know, that's not a question you should ask. Are you kidding? The man stumbles up Air Force One every time he walks up. I mean, he is embarrassing.
You know, I got to say, though, Dana, I've said this last week, and I find myself repeating myself again, which is a surprise. We're giving him we're getting him a get-out-of-jail-free pass on the stuff that he actually does by just talking about his cognitive impairment.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I always say, like, no, the buck stops there. These are his decisions. These are his policies, and he owns them. So the media did something that now you're going to see it forever. They broke the seal.
Right.
Now you're going to see it everywhere because now there's no putting this horse back in the barn. It is that. How many metaphors can I use in this?
You're up to 2.
Thing? The other thing you're going to start seeing is these Democrats are distancing themselves from Joe Biden, or they're running against their own party. But look beneath the surface. For example, the senator in Nevada who's on the run, her name is Catherine Cortez Masto. She's basically saying, oh, no, like, I'm distancing myself from them. But she votes with Joe Biden 98% of the time. And you're going to see a lot of Democrats try to do this between now and then. Also, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at the White House, all the House Democrats are going to the White House to have a messaging meeting on the economy. That's not the meeting they need to have. No. The meeting they need to have is on the economy and policy, not just on messaging.
Last word, Geraldo. What do you think? Vulnerable, malleable, over?
All those things. But I thought, to the judge's point, the New York Post had it so cleverly couched today Democrats can be forgiven for considering the possibility of only Kamala Harris standing between them and a return of Donald Trump and saying 80 is the new 75. 80 is the new 75. No, I think his problem is, he's an old 79. He's only 8 months older than I am.
Yep.
And he lacks a certain vigor, energy. And I think it's tragic. I mean, you can argue with his policies, of course. I like everyone else, I've ridden this stock market. Very rocky. I think I'd be working till I'm 100 at this rate. I remember when the crash happened in 2008. I was living in Edgewater, right on the Hudson River. I had a dock there with a pool on it, and I was swimming in the nude. The moon was out. I got out. I started yelling, "I'm not selling! I'm not selling!" Anyway,
You had to throw in you were nude.
I'm not selling.
Did you
And then you had a
say?
boat on the river.
I didn't sell. I didn't
right.
sell.
Well, up next, the gun deal gets real in Congress, but AOC says one aspect is racist.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.